on people. You cannot be on people. You are trying to intimidate people by getting on and see their signatures and their names and putting it on your camera.
In a wild video out of Arkansas, while activists and candidates were collecting signatures for ballot measures, with the upcoming elections in November taking place, we see a textbook case of voter intimidation in action and the lengths right-wingers are willing to go to limit the freedoms of anyone who does not agree with them.
The abortion amendment is to provide that abortion services
they already signed. They came specifically to sign it.
Just imagine the nerve and entitlement it must take to feel comfortable enough to lecture people specifically there to support securing a woman's right to reproductive autonomy. And despite the impressive box-out technique and no BS attitude from Justice of the Peace candidate Layla Chisholm, he still would not let up.
They already can read.
In fact, I have a copy of it if you'd like to read it.
Copy on the back of every petition, sir. Please get away. You're harassing. You follow me around to multiple locations. This is harassment almost, Bob.
Call the police.
I'm getting lawsuit ready, Bob.
Okay.
The laugh and smile on his face say it all, don't it? And even though this isn't a polling location and he's not interfering in a sanctioned election, he is using the same voter intimidation tactics that the Republicans have exploited for decades now. And with Laura Trump calling the shots at the RNC, we can expect a lot more of this to happen.
We will have trained poll watchers, poll observers, poll workers, people in tabulation centers all across this country. If you want to volunteer as a poll watcher, poll worker, or a volunteer lawyer, because we want those as well, DonaldJTrump.com, GOP.com. We want you. We can leave nothing to chance. We have to fight fire with dynamite in this election. We must win on November 5th.
The Republican Party has really struck gold with their fraudulent election integrity talking point. They know the concept of fairness plays well with the base, from pushing culture wars like trans athletes in pro sports, so selling the false notion that our elections are rigged, as Trump would say, while simultaneously selling themselves as the solution and the party that cares about election integrity. Uninformed voters won't stop and think about the repercussions of empowering the party that is openly eroding as many democratic processes as possible. Those are the voters the Republican Party has been and will always be targeting the most.
Sir,
Bob, that was very kind of you. Thank you.
I want to make sure everybody knows who the harassers are in this town. His name is Bob.
Current Arkansas law prohibits abortion except to save the life of the pregnant female in a medical emergency.
Save pregnant women.
A massive shout out goes to the former District 77 State House candidate Grant Smith for filming and posting this video to show the reality of boots on the ground efforts to pass meaningful legislation, and previously mentioned Layla Chisholm, who seems to have a history with Bob here for putting him in his place and protecting the identities of the signees. Chisholm is currently running for Justice of the Peace in Arkansas's 2nd District, advocating for government transparency, workers' rights, and reproductive rights, among other progressive policies aimed at helping working-class families. While unsuccessful in his past 2 attempts at the Arkansas 77th District representative seat, Grant Smith has continued connecting with his community through the Arkansas for Direct Democracy organization, collecting signatures for key ballot petitions like legalizing medical cannabis, abortion access, government transparency, and improving the state's education system, just to name a few. Oftentimes, we get so lost in the sauce of national politics and the implications of national elections that we forget about the countless hours of hard labor that go into petitioning for signatures from voters for ballot measures that may not pass come election time or may not even make it to the ballot at all. Especially in deep red states like Arkansas, leftists, progressives, and even many libs feel left behind and disenfranchised by their local politicians in the DNC. So people like Chisholm and Smith deserve praise, not just for sticking it to Bob the harasser, but for fighting the good fight when the odds are stacked so heavily against them. Because when you have people like this running your state and representing you to the rest of the country.
Of what nation are you a citizen?
Singapore.
Are you a citizen of any other nation?
No, Senator.
Have you ever applied for Chinese citizenship?
Senator, I served my nation in Singapore. No, I did not.
Do you have a Singaporean passport?
Yes, and I served my military for two and a half years in Singapore.
Do you have any other passports from any other nations?
No, Senator.
Your wife is an American citizen. Your children are American citizens.
That's correct.
Have you ever applied for American citizenship?
No, not yet.
Okay. Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm Singaporean. No.
Have you ever been associated or affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party?
No, Senator. Again, I'm
Okay.
Singaporean.
Today, we're taking a stand against woke nonsense. What frankly started as a fad among a few grad students has seeped down into corporations, the healthcare industry, and increasingly state government. It's demeaning to women, and it needs to stop. In a moment, I'll sign an executive order banning a number of all sorts of ridiculous words from state government documents. Those include words like pregnant people, laboring person, birth giver, and several other nonsense terms that have cropped up in recent years.
If you live in Arkansas, please do your part in kicking these clowns out of office as soon as possible. And be sure to sign on to the ballot measure petitions that will be attached in the description box below. Red states are only red states because of the legalized corruption allowed by our political system. But there are ways to take that power back to swing the state in a positive direction.